Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome
Hi,
to the
Ayşegül.
first episode of 2022. Hi, Bee. So nice to see you. It's been
So
a while.
nice to see you. I know.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start the year. Oh, Ivana's here. Hi, Ivana.
Oh, hi.
Hi. There's like 3 girls in here now.
Yes. So nice to see you. It's you traveled a little bit. I was away a little bit. Where were you? Did you have a good?
Actually, I was just around. I went
that's
like
right.
snowshoeing. Yeah, I just stayed in Seattle, which is where I live. I went snowshoeing a lot, but that's something I can do just for the day from Seattle. And I watched the fireworks from my living room. I got to see the fireworks out of the Space Needle.
I saw that picture. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
really nice. They canceled the fireworks in San Francisco.
Oh, so see, they canceled them in Seattle for 2 years now. Like 2 years ago for high wind because of high winds, and last year because of COVID. So we weren't sure if we're going to have fireworks this year, but we did. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
So Ivana, tell us where you're from. Happy New Year to you, and tell us where are you?
Brazil, I think. Isn't it, Ivana? Let's see.
And where's everybody else from? Please introduce yourselves. Tell us your name.
Oh, Argentina.
From Argentina.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Yay. Who else is watching? Introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from.
For those of you who doesn't know Ivana, she's one of our MVPs. Is it most valuable?
Professional?
Professional, yes.
Most valuable professional. Yeah, there are special people.
Yeah, she's a good resource to follow too, because she does really amazing projects and then she shares them.
Exactly.
Hi, Sean from Canada. Oh,
hi, nice. Sean.
Australia. Oh my God, Rizwan, thank you for joining. What time is it there?
Australia.
Brazil. Jose.
Olá, José. Podemos falar português?
We are going to talk about translation in the second half of this show. So good that we have multiple language speakers here.
That's good. So we're going to be practicing our first language, what should be our first language, but it's kind of becoming our second since we speak English every day, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. 5 a.m. in Australia. Thank you for watching us. That's amazing. Are you getting ready for work? Hope so. Necdet Sarıtaş.
Oh,
hello
Turkey.
from Germany.
See?
Germany.
Look.
Oh, yeah, that's
somebody
actually
from Turkey.
That's my brother. I didn't know he is aware.
My brother told me the other day that he watched one of the shows. I was just so embarrassed. I was like, really? Like, oh. This just puts pressure on me. So at least I'm glad I didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
Then I was just like, oh. And we have somebody from Mexico. Danielle, how are you? And Pakistan.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I love it. I mean, there's just, we are covering the whole range of time zones right now. It's really nice. So nice to see everyone. Let me tell you guys what we are going to do today. We are going to talk about search and semantic search and going to learn what's new with it. And also afterwards, in the second half, you can ask your questions. And after that, I'm going to go through my demo from the last Ignite, which was in November. So it was a speech demo. We talked about, like, I had 7 minutes to go through the whole thing, and just wanted to take some time and talk about like how to think about it, how to get started, where to find things on the documentation, and all of the tools that I'm using. So stay tuned for that one. Hi, Frank. Hey, Frank is one of our cloud advocates, one of our coworkers, and he has a show, Hello World. I think it's almost every day. I don't know. Like, he's doing amazing. Watch his show too.
Pretty awesome. Thanks for watching, Frank.
Yeah, and he has interviews, a lot of interviews, 30 minutes and a lot of demos, which is really nice. It's a good way to, get to know about the new products and such.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Like, this is a really nice crowd. And Ivana knows Frank, probably.
Yeah, she must. Yeah.
Oh,
hi,
Jay
Joy.
from...
Jay. Hi, Jay. So yes, rainy, very rainy. It's been a little bit depressing over here, like the last few days. It's been like raining and raining so much.
Yeah, it's raining here too. Let me see if I can show. Oh, look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you know how the other half looks.
Yes. So Jay, I can probably see you because I'm in uptown Seattle and I can see Seattle. So if I look like this, I'm just gonna wave at you. You can wave back.
Is it hilly in Seattle?
No, the downtown area is not. But then, like the uptown where I am is just the beginning of the Queen Anne slope, and the Queen Anne slope is a hill, right? So I'm right at the kind of towards the bottom of that hill, and so I have to go up maybe 1 block to come to my house. So I don't have to go up too much.
Yeah,
but yeah, people who live further up, then they have to go up more. So
yeah. San Francisco is very hilly if you've seen it in movies and such.
Yes.
But I live in a valley, so I can just bike straight to work. Like there's no hills, nothing, which is really nice and very hard to find in San Francisco.
That's amazing. Yeah. I can just go down the stairs to go to work, which is pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to work, obviously, staying in here. But yeah, hope everyone is staying safe and Harshan, cold, overcast in Niagara Falls. Oh, it must be beautiful, though. I've never been. Have you?
I have, yeah. It is beautiful. Yes.
I'm sure you have great photos. So, are you? Hey, everyone. One other thing I want to say. So we are thinking about how to make this more interesting for people and what kind of shows that we should be doing or demos and show code. So if you have ideas, if you have requests, please do let us know here or on Twitter too. So these are our Twitter handlers. At AYS something is me and B Stolnitz. Yeah.
So Ayşegül, you have some really special guests for today, right?
Yes.
Who are you going to be interviewing today? Tell us about it.
We have 2 instead of 1, which is really nice. We have Swarit and we have Derek, and they're going to show us really cool demo. And not only show the demo itself, they are also going to show us how to recreate that demo, which is really nice. Should we invite them in? Is it time?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Swarit. Hi, Derek. How are you?
Hello. Doing pretty well. How are you guys?
Good. I am getting a tiny bit of echo. Are you?
I don't hear it, no.
Oh, okay. If everyone else is okay. So you see all of these lovely people who came to listen to you from Argentina, Canada,
Pakistan,
Australia, Pakistan, Brazil, Turkey, Germany. It's amazing.
Seattle, downtown.
Quite the global coverage.
Very exciting. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, and Seattle, of course, which is
India.
The most exotic place. Oh, hi. Where are you guys located, Derek and Swarit? Are you in Seattle?
I'm in Seattle as well. I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking out the window and seeing the rain. I think the last 3 or 4 days we've had some pretty heavy rain, but it's par for the course this time of year. We just gotta hold out till summer when it's nice and sunny.
Yeah.
And I'm in Bellevue, which is just across the bridge, and the weather doesn't change much across the bridge, so it's pretty much raining here as well.
Oh, yes.
We had that snowstorm, right? Just recently.
Oh, yeah.
Over Christmas, New Year's,
That was
Yeah, it was
fun.
a
That
fun
was
way to kind of end the winter break. Got like it's stuck. I feel like a lot of times we get snow and then the next day it rains and kind of washes away all the snow. But we had like 4 days of fun. Get some sledding.
Yeah.
I guess opportunity for snowshoeing and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
kids
was
had a
snowed
good time.
Yeah, exactly, right. My street was like officially a sledding street because I'm on a hill for like more than a week. I really was only able to take the car out on Tuesday.
Isn't it dangerous? I mean, people do that.
Well, my street was just ice. It was because like on an east-facing slope, so it was like melting and freezing and melting and freezing. So we just couldn't go anywhere. I had to walk like supermarket and stuff.
You notice that near me they closed down some of the roads like so kids could just ski and not have to worry about like sliding into the road. I thought that was a nice touch to make it a
That was
little bit
awesome.
safer experience.
Exactly. There were lots of kids on my street. Very popular street.
Oh, that's really
Right.
nice. I don't even remember last time I saw snow. Probably last time I was in Seattle, which was a few years ago now. There's no snow in San Francisco. All right. So maybe we can get started. Do you guys have any questions before we get started with the interview? Or
Everyone's ready? You guys all ready? So just if it's your first time watching the show, just so you know, like this is where we record. You're going to see us record an interview live, which means you're here to see us all mess up, re-record, say silly things, and then apologize. So if that's what you're here for, you're in the right place. If you want like the sanitized version of it, then look for the AI show, not the AI show live, where the interview will be all nicely edited, and then you'll be able to like watch this in a condensed 15 minutes. So yeah, that's what this is about.
yeah. And the good part is that though you can ask questions, of course, and you can find
Exactly.
Oh, I'm not able to post to the chat. I'm posting it to the private chat. But we have a new documentation link for AI Show. It's aka.ms AI Show episodes. If you go there, you'll find all of our, cleaned up, shorter versions of our interviews.
I added it to the chat, to the public chat. So I think
Awesome.
everybody can see it now.
Yay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, we have a new member also.
We do.
Yeah, working in the background. Matt, we had Peggy for the longest time, and she's amazing. But we have a producer now. So
We do. It's like we're upgraded. I feel special. It's like the show has a producer, right? So thanks, Matt, for your hard work. You won't be seeing him, but he's going to be working like harder than we are. So
yeah.
Matt,
So
you're
we don't have to
appreciated.
shuffle the stuff. It's really nice. All right. Derek, Swery, are you both ready?
Let's do it.
Take it
All
away.
right. Great.
I'm going to remove everyone. Ayşegül, you're going to be left alone. Okay? I'm going to miss you.
I miss you too.
Hi.
You don't want to miss this episode of the AI Show where Derek and Swery are going to tell us all about semantic search. We need Derek and Swery. Okay. We have to cut this part. All right. Since we are cutting this part, Matt, I'm not sure if you're going to edit this and if you want a thing to cut, but I usually do this. It usually helps. Okay, and going to start after that. Thank you for coming to our show, Swery and Derek. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Microsoft.
Yeah, thanks for having us on the show. So my name is Derek Legensoff, and I'm one of the program managers for Azure Cognitive Search. So in particular, I work kind of on the core search functionality part of the product. So I'm excited to kind of share with you what we've been working on.
We are excited too.
Hi, my name is Swarit Grover. I'm a program manager here at Microsoft in the Bing Search and AI team, and we're collaborating closely with the cognitive search team to bring semantic search capabilities to all our customers. So very happy to be here to talk about all the good stuff.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear. So can you start by explaining us what people are using search for and what the search is?
Sure. So Azure Cognitive Search is a platform as a service, and essentially, we make it really easy for you to build your rich search experience into your application. So whether you have a bunch of documents you need to be able to search over, or maybe you have a catalog that you want your users to be able to search over. Pretty much like any time you need your users to have a search bar in their application to be able to kind of quickly find that information. That's really what we're used for. And we have kind of this really nice integration with the rest of the Azure ecosystem. So like, if you have data in blob storage or Cosmos DB or SQL, just a few clicks into the Azure portal, you can index your data into the search service, and then be able to use our APIs and SDKs to then integrate that all the way into your application. And so pretty quickly you can have a really rich search experience. And in particular, we want to make it really easy for you, even if you're not a search expert. So that's why we've been investing a lot in collaborating with Bing and being able to pull in kind of the state-of-the-art technology, so you can build kind of these amazing search experiences without having to be a search expert.
That is great. We all need search in our applications. They keep growing. So Swarit, can you tell us what the semantic search is and what is the difference?
Sure. So semantic search enables search engines to go beyond keyword matching, and it ranks search results based on the semantic meaning behind words and content. So most enterprise search implementations today, they're based on classical ranking techniques that retrieve search results by matching keywords and then rank them based on their term frequency. But these techniques do not perform very well for natural language queries that search users are increasingly getting accustomed to. So for example, take a search query like, what are the common COVID symptoms? So based on the shape of the underlying data set, we may prioritize ranking documents that are associated with common cold rather than COVID-19 due to the high frequency with which the term common occurs in those documents. And we'll see this behavior like later in one of our demos. So semantic search addresses such shortcomings. It ranks search results based on the context or meaning associated with the text in the search query and the matching document. So for Azure Cognitive Search customers, we have enabled this by bringing state-of-the-art transformer-based models from Microsoft Bing, which power advanced natural language capabilities on Bing.com today for hundreds of millions of queries every single day. And the big value add here is that customers no longer need to worry about acquiring specialized expertise or expensive infrastructure to build and host such large-scale models. So in this release, we are making semantic search available to all cognitive search customers, subject to regional availability. And we have an exciting set of enhancements that we are bringing right now in this release. Firstly, we are introducing semantic configurations that provide an intuitive way to set up semantic search for a given data set, and Derek will go over a demo for that. And secondly, we have updated our underlying semantic ranking model to provide even better search relevance across multiple languages, like 50 plus languages. And finally, we're expanding semantic search to additional regions.
Wow, 50 plus language. That's amazing. What does it look like? Can we see how it actually works?
Sure. So this demo that we have is based on the CORD-19 dataset, which is a public dataset of research papers associated with COVID. So we created this demo web app to sort of showcase the capabilities and the different features of semantic search. So let's say on this dataset, I issue a query like common symptoms for COVID, right? And note that right now, we've not enabled any of our semantic search features. So the results that will be returned will be based on the BM25 ranker. So once we issue this query, we find that some of the top results that are returned are not really relevant to the query. So the topmost result, for example, is talking about symptoms of common cold and flu. The second one is talking about antivirals for common cold. The third one is somewhat relevant because it does talk about common COVID-19 symptoms, although they are from like Arabic Twitter accounts. And then again, the fourth result is more generic in nature, where it's talking about like common respiratory infections rather than specifically COVID, right? So clearly we are finding that BM25 is not doing the job as we desire. And part of the reason is that these documents have this word common occurring very frequently. And therefore BM25, based on term frequency, ranks them on the top. Now, if we actually went ahead and turned on semantic ranking, we'll see these documents getting reordered. And here we'll find like the top documents that actually returned and ranked are far more relevant to the query. So for example, you'll see onset of symptoms of COVID-19 as a topmost document. The second one talks about differential clinical diagnosis of the novel coronavirus. And if you actually went into this research paper by clicking into this link, you'll find it in detail talks about COVID-19 symptoms, which is why it is getting ranked as a second result. The third one, again, is a research paper that talks a lot about COVID-19 symptoms, and so on and so forth. So in general, you're finding that the semantic ranker is doing a better job of getting more relevant documents. But with semantic search, we're actually able to push this even further. So if you went ahead and turned on answers and captions here, now you'll find that we're actually able to extract the right passage from the right document and render that as an answer directly for this query. So, and in this answer, we actually take it even a step further, where our underlying machine reading comprehension model is able to semantically highlight the right terms within this answer that are directly relevant to this query. So say, for example, you see respiratory system symptoms such as coughing, shortness of breath, or dyspnea, or digestive symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Note that none of these terms or keywords are directly in the query, but since they're semantically related to the query, they're actually highlighted here. And that's the value add that we're actually able to bring as a part of this capability. And in the rest of the results, we're able to extract these captions, which are far more relevant to this given query. And within these captions as well, we are like semantically highlighting the right terms. So say, for example, here we're highlighting fever and cough. Here we're highlighting fever, fatigue, and cough again, and so on and so forth. So semantic search is doing a far more superior job in terms of giving us the most relevant results for our query and deliver a more satisfying experience for our end users. So, and if we compare that to our VM25 ranker here in this demo, you can actually see the difference side by side in this particular demo. And so now I'll pass the bit on to Derek, who will talk about how we're actually making it easier for customers to configure semantic search.
Awesome. We are very excited about it, Derek. Show us how to get started, please.
Yeah, thanks for it. Yeah, so yeah, I'll kind of walk you through the process of you're getting to the queries that Sorit showed you. And so I guess the first thing is you need to go and enable semantic search on your search service. And one of the things that you're pretty excited to announce is that the semantic search preview is now ungated. So before you had to go and kind of sign up a form, and we would kind of register you into the preview. But now we're opening the floodgates, so to speak. So all you need to have is a search service and a supported tier and region. You can go ahead and get started. So here I have a demo search service in the Azure portal. And to go ahead and enable semantic search, all I need to go here is on the left-hand side and select semantic search. And then you can choose to either opt into the free plan, which gives you up to 1,000 free queries per month, or you can opt into the standard plan, which gives you a whole lot more queries. And so like I mentioned, so you need to be in the standard tier, which is either the S1, S2, or S3 search services. And we support 10 regions now. So we've just added a handful of new regions as well to give us kind of better coverage. But so all you need to do to get, the first step to get started is go ahead and opt yourself into this free plan. Then from there, semantic search is enabled. And one of my favorite things about semantic search is that it's stateless. So if you already have a search index, you don't need to go ahead and re-index that content or everything. You can actually use semantic search with your existing index. So then the next step to get started is going to be for us to create a semantic configuration like that Sorit mentioned, and then go ahead and issue a semantic query. I did just want to provide kind of a little bit of context on that semantic configuration before we go ahead and create one in the portal. So I've moved over to the VS Code. I'm in the VS Code extension for Azure Cloud Search, which you can issue queries, you can create indexes, and all that good stuff. It's really one of my favorite tools to work in. But up here, I have the kind of the older syntax for creating semantic queries, which was our 2020-0630 preview API version. So this is what customers have been using kind of up to now when we're kind of announcing this new stuff. So you'd give us the search, for example, what is the incubation period for COVID-19? You say the query type is semantic. You can pick your query language. You can choose whether or not you want semantic answers. And then the next thing users needed to do was specify kind of which fields are most important for semantic search. So one thing that's really important is for you to give us hints about which fields matter most, so that we can then use those fields as we're re-ranking the content, as we're extracting the semantic answers and captions. And so with the search fields parameter, essentially your customers needed to kind of provide an ordered list of the fields that were important. And one of the tricky things was that actually the order of these fields was really important. And kind of the feedback we got from customers is this wasn't super intuitive. It's an easy thing to forget. So what we've done is we've actually created the concept of semantic configurations, which you can see in the newer API version. We're now kind of replacing search fields with semantic configuration. And of course, this parameter still exists, the search fields parameter, but it's just not used by semantic search anymore. And essentially, this semantic configuration is a much more intuitive way for you to tell us kind of which fields are most important, so you can get kind of the optimal results from semantic search. And one other quick thing I'll call out is that we also added a new captions parameter. Before, by default, all queries, all semantic queries are going to have captions. Now you can choose whether or not you want those. But with that, let's go ahead and we'll head back to the portal and create a semantic configuration. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back to the home page, and then we'll go to my indexes. And I've created a Cord 19 index. This is the same data set that's for it was showing us. It's based off a bunch of research papers from COVID-19. And actually, so this data set's hosted in blob storage. So when you have data hosted on Azure, it's really easy. You can just go ahead and hit this import data button, and we'll kind of walk you through a workflow to get that data into search. But since I already have this data imported, we'll just kind of click into this index. And here you can see we have a semantic configurations tab. So I can go ahead and click into this tab. There we go. And I've already created a semantic configuration, but let's go ahead and just create another one. So the first thing is we need to give this a name. You can call it anything you want. And this name is what you'll be specifying at query time. So we'll just call this the demo config. And next, the semantic configuration consists of 3 different types of fields. There's a title field. This is generally going to be kind of like a short, concise description, whether it be like the title of a document, a title of a web page, title of a product, stuff like that. So in this case, all of these academic articles have a title. So we'll go ahead and select that. And if you don't have a title, you can just leave this field blank. You actually only need to specify one field between all of these, but if you have the fields in your index, it's best to go ahead and specify them. So next up, we need to put in the content fields. So these are going to be your free-form text type fields. Generally, like semantic answers are going to be coming from these content fields. So academic articles tend to always have an abstract. So we'll go ahead and select that. And then they'll also have a body as well. And your abstracts tend to be kind of more precise, a little bit shorter with kind of that really important information. So we'll go ahead and put that above body because the priority of these fields does matter. And finally, for keywords, these are going to be kind of this could be like a category or a list of tags or stuff like that. So in this case, we have a list of authors. We'll go ahead and add that to keywords. And then we can also do the journal name. And now that I think about it, journal might be a little bit more important for the types of queries I'll be issuing. So let's go ahead and just move that above, above authors. So now we can go ahead and hit OK. We need to go then and save this. And just like that, I've created a semantic configuration. And so this is a part of your index definition. So like you can also use an SDK or edit the JSON of your index definition here. But now that we have this nice wizard in the portal, it's really easy to use. So with that, we're pretty much all ready to go ahead and start issuing these semantic queries. So I've moved over to Search Explorer. I'll paste in my query here. Just typing with the audience can always be difficult. And then if you have semantic search enabled, you're going to see this query options. These query options show up. So you can see you select your language, and like Swarit was mentioning, we support a whole ton of different languages now. This content's English, so we'll leave the EN/US as a default. Then we're going to turn on semantic search, and now we need to select our semantic configuration we want to use. So we'll go ahead and use that demo config, and then we can choose whether or not we want to turn on spell correction. So I'll go ahead and turn that on as well. And now we're ready to go ahead and issue our query. And then as we scroll down, we can see here is like kind of the JSON behind like the semantic answers that Swarit was showing us. You can see it did a pretty good job in this case. You can see these EM fields show what was highlighted, and it says it's around like 8.3 days for all patients, and it can be different like depending on age. So Semantics was able to kind of quickly get that answer for us. And I will call out, like, we haven't updated this data set super recently, so the incubation period might have changed. We're not your go-to references for COVID information, but just wanted to demo how we can extract out this information from these academic articles. So that's pretty much how to get started with semantic search. You just need to go ahead and enable semantic search in your search service, create a semantic configuration, and then go ahead and issue a query. And that's really all it takes to get started.
I love the fact that anyone on your team can go ahead and change the configuration and even test it without any developer time necessary. It's really cool.
Yep, definitely. You can have multiple. So you can, if you want to run different relevance experiments, you could have a few different semantic configurations to see what performs the best. So we try to make it as flexible as possible.
Thank you so much. And where can people go learn more about this?
Sure. So we have a bunch of different resources you can go and check out. We've made some aka.ms links for you. So you can go to aka.ms/Azure Semantic Search for an overview. You can see some details of like how semantic search works behind the scenes. You can go to aka.ms/create a semantic query, and that'll walk you through kind of the whole process of creating a semantic query and the best stuff to do there and how to create a semantic configuration. And then finally, if you want to go and play around with that demo that's for it, which is showing you, you can go to aka.ms/semantic search demo, and see how semantic search works firsthand. And maybe we have some Microsoft documentation there, because you can ask questions about Microsoft products or about COVID-19. It's a real fun demo to explore.
This is great. Thank you so much for coming to our show and showing us your hard work, and it really pays off. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, Story. Bye, Derek.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. This is out of the thing, but Matt, we have to record me saying goodbye just by myself, and then the thank you. Thank you for watching AI Show. Don't forget to sign up for the next episode. I'll start again. Thank you for watching the AI Show, where we talked about semantic search, and don't forget to sign up for the next episode. It's aka.ms AI Show Live. Yay! Thanks, everyone. Sorry we couldn't answer your questions. Merhaba, Ender, and hello, Luis from Costa Rica. Now we can take your questions. Now we can answer all of them. Derek and Borit will be joining us too.
Yes.
Yay.
So Jay has a question for Derek. So Jay is saying, semantic search is, he said, wait, I read that differently. Please repeat when you were demoing. He said, semantic search is only available. I'm actually going to just show the thing. Semantic search is only available on the standard tier, but you say to use the free tier. I'm confused. Can you comment on that, Derek?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so essentially, so Azure Cognitive Search has tiers, and then semantic search comes at an additional cost, because essentially we're hosting these models on GPU. So if you choose to kind of enable semantic search, that does come with an additional cost. So essentially we have a kind of a separate plan for that. So you need your Azure Cognitive Search service itself to be in the standard tier. But then once you have that search service, then you can select which plan you want to be in for semantic search. So it's two separate things. So the search service itself needs to be in the standard tier, but for semantic search, you can either select the free plan or the standard plan.
There are more questions, but I was actually going to ask a related question, and Jay's question kind of answered one part of it. Why would you not use semantic search? Why would you not enable it?
Yeah, it's a good question. And so I guess there are some scenarios where you're not doing keyword search or not asking natural language queries. So for example, there are a lot of customers who will just use cognitive search for really efficient filtering or faceting. So again, in those cases, you don't necessarily need semantic search. Or maybe you're doing like a regex search over part numbers, and I want to see all part numbers that start with 1, 2, 3. That's where you can kind of use the core search functionality and not really need to leverage semantic search. But when you're starting to use keyword queries, or especially natural language queries, like where you're asking questions or stuff like that, that's where semantic search is going to be really powerful, because it can actually understand the intent of the query you're asking, and then provide results based off of that.
Great.
Yeah, and to add to that, to Derek's point, we've predominantly seen adoption of semantic search across multiple industries in our preview so far. Ranging from retail, manufacturing, professional, legal services, to name a few. And predominantly we found like content and catalog search that have data sets with descriptive text where you're trying to get answers to your questions through natural language queries is where we're actually seeing semantic search really add a lot of value to their scenarios.
So what I'm gathering is if you are just searching for a product, for example, you don't need it because it's not a question. It's not, you don't have to understand the question. Am I correct?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, if you're doing actually products, if you have doing some catalog search over a set of products, say for example, semantic search still adds value there because, say for example, if you were searching for let's say you were searching for ladies' clothes, and among the top 50 results that are returned by the BM25 ranker, we want to re-rank them based on intent, and we want to sort of bubble up documents that have the, say, for example, keyword women. Then they'll get ranked higher than the ones that are really than the BM25 ranker that is only ranking based on exact match of keywords.
I'll just say, pretty much like any scenario where you're doing keyword search, there's an opportunity for it to be valuable. So even if you're not asking full questions, it could be like a single term, and there's still opportunity for semantic search to provide better ranking. And to give, I guess, one example, so the Microsoft Docs team is now one of the biggest users of semantic search, and they're working hard to kind of really make it the best search experience possible. So they measure kind of the accuracy of their search and all that stuff. So with single term searches, the Microsoft Docs team found I think it was like a 3% improvement in click-through rate, which is pretty significant for them. But then if it's queries of 3 terms or more, the click-through rate even improved even more. So I think for longer queries, I think it was about 4 or 5% improvement. So like for short queries, there's still value, but for long queries, there's going to be even more intent that we can kind of parse from that query. So it's going to give you even better results.
Awesome. I never looked through the documentation. I always search because it's really hard to just figure out where to find things. We have so much. That's fine.
I do the same. I totally understand that. Yeah. We have another question. José Silva asks, which kind of data structure is used to index a semantic search?
So I think the index is the same across whether you're using semantic search or not. So that does not change. But Derek, do you want to talk about how general indexing works maybe, and maybe what goes into the what data structures actually use there?
Yep, yeah, it's a great question, and Schwartz, right? So our indexing itself doesn't change with semantic search today. So like you can select string fields or collections or stuff like that. So all that's going to be the same, and we're still going to creating an inverted index under the hood. And actually, the way semantic search works is we first kind of recall search results from that inverted index using BM25, and then we're using semantic search to kind of re-rank and then improve the search results from there. So it's still kind of that typical index you would expect with a search service.
All right. I hope that answered your question. Well, we have more questions. Joshua, don't know how to pronounce Joshua Sharma. How can you customize for single domain?
It's a good question, and so there's not we don't have a ton of knobs currently for you to customize for your domain. But what we found is that the Bing models are so sophisticated that we have seen kind of good results generalizing across different industries. So we've seen success kind of in the legal space. We've seen success in technical domains and kind of in catalog search type domains. So we have seen that Bing has enough data and has worked hard enough to train these models that they have kind of generalized really well across particular industries. And you can do some additional enhancements. For example, you can really improve the recall of that BM25 layer of search results by creating a synonym map. So, for example, if there's terms in Formula One where maybe there's a synonym for engine or other kind of parts, you want to be able to have those to help kind of improve the recall of search. Your synonym maps where you can add your industry-specific terms are going to be a great way to kind of add a little bit of additional customization. And then once the search results get to the Bing models, then Bing can kind of work its magic from there.
It's a good answer. All right, moving on to the next question. What are the languages for semantic search? Is Arabic supported? So you mentioned there were 50, right? Is that correct? 50
Yes.
languages?
Yeah, so there are 50 plus languages. I think in total there are about 56 languages that are actually supported by Semantic Search. There are essentially all the languages that are supported by Azure Cognitive Search are supported by Semantic Search. Arabic is supported as well. And we can provide the link to our documentation for the list of languages in the chat window as well.
If you want to paste that in the private chat, I can put it in the public chat. Okay. All right, I'll do that.
That's great. Is there any plans to add more languages in the future? When should we expect more? I know because we have 100-ish languages that we support for some of the other services.
Well, the semantic search model is actually capable of supporting 100 plus languages like the other services you're talking about. So it's more a function of the set of analyzers that are actually supported by cognitive search today, which is across those 56 languages, and therefore semantic search, because semantic search re-ranks the results that comes from the level 1 BM25 ranker that's based on those analyzers. Semantic search, therefore, on cognitive search supports 50 plus languages.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'll say the coverage is pretty comprehensive today, but if you do have like additional languages that you don't see are supported and you're interested, you definitely go ahead and let us know. We always really value that feedback.
Yes, and I think your LinkedIn profiles are under the description, so you can hit them or just message us anytime. We'll bring the feedback. Awesome. I had one other question. Oh, okay, Derek, I think you mentioned the available regions. What does that mean for the developers exactly?
Sure. So essentially, your semantic search, Azure Cognitive Search, I think is available in, I don't know the exact number of regions, but dozens of regions. And essentially, as we're rolling out semantic search, it's only limited. It's only available in a limited number of those regions. So we need to go through kind of deploy this out to those additional regions. So just as you're picking a region for your search service, it's just important to make sure that if you want to use semantic search, that you're picking one of those regions where semantic search is supported, so you can take advantage of those capabilities. And of course, where you were working on kind of expanding those regions and making more available.
Great. And what happens, like, let's say West US is not available. Can I use something else instead? Would that still work?
So you're saying like if like the rest of your, let's say like the rest of your resources are in West US, and that's not supported, you want to use West US. So you want to use West US too for semantic search. Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah. Or maybe there's no EU Europe one. Let's say, I'm sure we do, but can people still use other regions?
Yeah, definitely. Let's say we're not in a particular region. You should definitely be able to pick like your region nearby, and in particular, Azure has a lot of like paired regions. So let's say like we're not in a certain region. You can try to find out what the paired region is, and those are going to have kind of the lowest latencies between regions. So that's like if you're using a search service in a different region, like the only like potential risk is like you have the search requests are traveling across the globe. The latency might be a little bit higher, but at this point, we have kind of decent coverage across kind of all quadrants of the globe. So you should be able to find a region that's close enough that you're able to use semantic search without kind of any too big of latency coming from the network and all that stuff.
Awesome.
So we have one more comment that I forgot to add here. I think the answer to that is yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, and I'll say kind of the first step here is to get that data into the search index. So I'm not sure kind of where these books and videos and documents are, but let's say you have those books as PDF files, you can stick them in blob storage and be able to index them from there. Videos are a little bit more work since we need to kind of crack out the content from those videos. But what a lot of customers do is they'll send their videos through Video Analyzer, and then that kind of extracts out like the transcript and some keywords and stuff from videos. So you can land all of that data in the search index. And then once all of this is searchable in Azure Cognitive Search, then you can turn on semantic search, and it's going to do a great job of helping you find exactly what you're looking for kind of amidst this knowledge library. But that's kind of a core scenario we see a lot of our customers use is they have all sorts of content and they want to make it easy to be able to search across all that content. So they'll get all that data into search and leverage semantic search to you make their queries as effective as possible.
Awesome.
This is great. Thank you. And thanks everyone for amazing questions. And I would like to hear what are the other use cases that people are thinking about using semantic search. Because now with all of the applications, we're expecting everything to be super smart, easily searchable. So I'm curious what kind of applications people are building.
So we've seen a lot of success in like the legal industry or searching across kind of like legal documents. So for example, maybe you have like a corpus of contracts. You want to be able to identify like certain clauses in those contracts or stuff like that. So we've seen a lot like that kind of like legal technical content has been a really big domain for us. I'll say like technical documents as well, or like customer support scenarios. So maybe you have a lot of documentation and you have customers, you have support agents who need to be able to kind of go through that documentation. So that's like the type of content that would be really powerful, because you can have essentially you build out the search solution and then have your support agents be able to kind of go through and be able to kind of quickly answer customer questions based off of that content.
You just gave me another second project idea. Thank you. I'm trying to automate stuff as much as I can, and I'm chairing some W3C meetings, and everything is scribed. So everything we say during our meetings is scribed, but no one remembers the decisions. What was the decision from that thing? Nobody remembers. It would be a good search for that.
That's free. You can upload all the content. If you have someone's like, oh no, we're not doing that anymore, you can be like, oh, I found this meeting in December. You said we could do this.
Yes. The danger is most likely people will tell me that we did talk about it. But yeah, I don't know. Now I'm going to be accountable. Do I really want to implement this? Let me think again. So if you have the time and what would you build? What would be the next thing that would make your life easy with search? Do you guys have any?
That's a good question. So I guess one of the projects I've always wanted to build, I find like, so as I'm writing code, like there's the typical process. You write some code, then you go to Google or Bing, you end up on Stack Overflow. Like, I think it'd be really cool to like have like a search experience where like you ask your question, like you kind of immediately get code responses back. Like, at this point, I think Bing is pretty good at doing it, but it's all. I'd love to be able to like upload my own little code snippets so I could just search and kind of quickly find these. I finally go through like these little patterns where like I'll do something and then I have to do it again 3 months later, and by 3 months later I've already forgotten how to do it. So it'd be nice to kind of have a solution where I can kind of search and like reuse all this work I've done in the past, not have to kind of recreate the wheel every time.
Oh, awesome! Well, there's actually something for you. Have you heard about the Copilot? GitHub Copilot.
I have. That could probably even save me more times. You don't even have to like issue search queries there. You just kind of put some comments in and it writes the code for you.
Yeah, it is really cool. And then you have the options, so you can look through all of the options. I really like it. Makes my life so much easier.
Yeah, it definitely seems really powerful.
You're going to be demoing that in the next part of the second part of the show, right? Actually, yeah. Yes. So if you want to see Copilot in action, stay tuned.
Yeah, and the links to it is down below as well. Swart, do you have any application?
Well, I think one of the scenarios that would be interesting to actually try this out on would be, say, for example, today in our workplace, like we tend to have multiple applications that we're communicating, that we're using to communicate with our colleagues. Like you mentioned, like we have Teams, we have Outlook, we have Yammer, and so on and so forth. And I'm pretty sure, these are like Microsoft applications. I'm pretty sure there are other industry solutions as well. So like like one aggregator solution that is able to sort of semantically bubble up all the conversations and decisions that you have taken over the past in a bunch of meetings or a bunch of conversations. Like you end up searching on these apps in a very siloed manner today. So if you can have one sort of an aggregator application that is able to bubble up the right set of results from each of those applications, depending on the scenario, would definitely be something that I'd love to see.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Also the conversations too.
Yep.
So this is essentially the part where we give everybody free business ideas.
Yeah. Feel free to build it. And if you build it, we'll buy it. I mean, personally, like we'll pay for the service.
Yes.
This is awesome. Hey, everybody. I don't see any other comments. Is everyone here? Are we still here?
I don't see any other questions. Yeah, if you have questions, this is the time to post them, because at some point soon we're going to lose our guests. So
yeah. And anything else that you would like to share, if there are other tools, please do. And I have one other question, actually. Like, so sometimes it's hard to figure out where to get started with the things. Like, why would when I think about questions answered, I'm thinking about language understanding. So search seems like using that. Would I ever need to also go use language understanding with the search?
So you could, and so I guess the scenario, like imagine we're building like a search experience like Zillow. So like what semantic search is really good at is like if you ask a question, it's going to find kind of the most related content for it. What semantic search isn't going to do is stuff like automatically add filters to your query. So that's where something like Lewis could come in, where it's like I want a house in the Seattle area that's less than $500,000. I'm kind of dreaming there. But so like your semantic is able to kind of re-rank the content, and it'll be able to use some of that context. But what's really best at is like with this free form text, but it's not going to be automatically kind of appending these filters on. So like if you wanted to use Lewis, like you could have Lewis parse the queries and understand like, oh yeah, I need to add a filter where I only want to see houses that are less than 500,000. I should add a filter where they need to be within 10 miles of the Seattle area. That would be like the kind of the typical Lewis theory. We want to kind of even make search even like a little bit smarter.
Awesome.
we have a couple other questions that have come in, so we're not going to letting you guys go. Can you share the vision and plans for semantic search?
Yeah, because I'll take it. So I guess our primary. I guess I'll say we have two primary goals right now. So I guess the first one is just kind of responding to customer feedback and making improvements. So kind of the semantic configurations was one of those big pieces where the kind of feedback we got was this piece of semantic search wasn't very intuitive. So we wanted to improve that. So we're kind of going through and making a lot of improvements to the existing capabilities to make it work even more seamlessly for customers. We want to make some other improvements to the Q&A functionality and stuff like that. So that's kind of, I guess, one big priority is just responding to feedback and making things better. And the next big priority is semantic search is currently a preview feature, so we're working on getting semantic search towards GA. So that's kind of another big work stream we have, where we're kind of doing all the work so we can get this in place and be able to offer a GA and SLA so customers can use this in production without any worries.
And I think
wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, predominantly, like right now, we've pretty much just scratched the surface in terms of how we are bringing more relevant results via semantic search to all our customers. There's the first preview version where we are introducing some of the large scale transformer-based models and bringing that to Azure Cognitive Search, right? And so there are far more sophisticated capabilities that are there in the Bing stack that power like various scenarios across Bing.com, across various verticals of Bing.com. And so we have some plans to sort of bring some of those capabilities to some of our cognitive search customers in the medium to long term future as well.
Great.
Anything secrets that we shouldn't know? It's just the whole world. I mean, we can keep a secret here.
Well, yeah, there are several early discussions on what we want to do. So I guess as they materialize, we'll definitely keep the audience here posted in terms of how we progress there.
So I'm assuming people can maybe affect your decisions by giving the feedback. What is the best place to give that feedback?
So we have an alias, which where you can actually directly give us your feedback. You can probably fetch that and put that on the chat window. That's been the primary channels through which we've got feedback from customers on semantic search. So yeah, that's I think the main one that we've actually leveraged so far.
What is that alias? So I can put it there. Is that a link that we already have, or something?
Yeah, we will find that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up. Yeah, in general, like,
And
we definitely encourage you to like test things out and like let us know how things go. We're definitely kind of eager to get people's feedback. Like if things are working well, we'd love to hear it. If you're finding areas that don't work as well, like we'd also love to get that feedback so we can improve and make things better for everybody.
And if anybody reaches out to me or Ayşegül on Twitter, we're happy to pass the feedback to the right people within Microsoft.
Yeah, including the documentation. What is hard for you? What will make it easy to, go ahead and make your application smarter?
Oh, fantastic. Great.
Awesome.
That's really great.
Jay is asking, is there a MS Learn module?
Right.
There's
Jay,
not,
thank
so
you.
there is for cognitive search, but there's not yet one for semantic search. So you can use MS Learn to kind of learn a lot of the basics about a cognitive search, which is I think definitely worth doing. And but as of right now, the documentation and the blog posts we have are the best place to learn more about semantic search. And that actually, when we first announced this at Build last year, there's a couple really good videos that really kind of dive in and explain kind of how semantic search works behind the scenes that I think are really interesting. And those are in the links that we shared earlier.
Oh, great.
And there's one more question. What are the domains where semantic search would work best out of the box? Like, would it work in healthcare or law domains, or it can be a default solution for any domain?
Yeah, in general, that's a really good question, right? So in general, like we found semantic search to work really well for like content and catalog search scenarios across multiple domains. So the demo that we just gave in the show was actually based on the healthcare domain, where there were research papers based on COVID-19, and we actually showed you some examples where semantic search really shines, right? And similarly, like Derek mentioned earlier, we've seen different customers in the legal domain who are actually leveraging semantic search and have given us some really encouraging feedback in terms of how it's actually helping them as well. So in general, if you have any content that has descriptive text and you want to search over it, semantic search is probably the right tool for you to explore to see whether that really works for you and gets you more relevant results vis-a-vis the classical ranking techniques that exist out there.
Great.
I'm going to ask a very unpopular question. What could go wrong? Sometimes, when you think about a project, you're not sure about what would not work or what is the best practices. So what kind of issues people might have? Or what kind of projects wouldn't work well?
Well, I wouldn't pivot as much on projects given the feedback that we've got, but I think we've seen basically, say for example, issues with respect to configuration, right? So depending on the shape of the data sets that you have, we had search fields in preview that Derek was mentioning, and so because customers weren't specifying the right order of the fields in search fields, they weren't getting the relevant results. Part of the problem is that the way these models work is they take a set of fixed input because they're really expensive to run. So we take a bunch of, so whatever fields you specify, we concatenate the content in those fields, truncate it, and then send it to our models. So given the fact that we truncate it, because if you don't actually order the fields correctly, you may actually sort of miss out on sending some relevant information to these models. So we've partially solved this problem via semantic configurations now, because now you don't have to worry about that order. But the nuance is that even within semantic configurations, depending on the category that you're using to specify a set of fields, you still need to make sure that the order is correct there. So to give you an example, the specific categories are like title, keyword, and contents, right? So if you have some fields that have a lot of keywords and you want to introduce that in your configuration, then make sure that the fields that are shorter in length are mentioned first in that particular order, right? So those are some of the nuances into the configuration experience that we would probably want to mention explicitly here, so that you can actually get the best out of semantic search. Derek, I don't know if you had anything more to add to that.
No, yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary. I guess the only other thing I can think of is like if you have like let's say your data like really doesn't have much information in it, like so let's say like maybe I'm searching a catalog and like all my catalog really is like part numbers. Then like so semantic search isn't going to do a bad job, but it might not like it's still going to give you pretty good search results, but it might not like be as powerful at re-ranking the results because there's not as much context for it to go off of. So like if you only have like single words in your documents in the search index, there's not like quite as much context for semantic search to go up. So the real power of it is it's these deep neural networks, transformer models that really kind of understand the meaning of text and like how these words relate to each other.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. I think the nuance is also that the way semantic search works right now is we have this level 1 ranker, which is the BM25 ranker that exists today in Azure Search. And then what that ranker does, it takes a top 50 document. What semantic search does is it takes the top 50 documents from that level 1 ranking and feeds it to the semantic search re-ranker. And so the semantic search re-ranker currently re-ranks these top 50 documents. So the recall of those documents is still based on that BM25 ranker, right? So if you're, say for example, if you're looking for your level 1 ranker to get documents that have terms that do not exist in a search query, that may not happen at the moment. So that's the other nuance that we just want to make sure you're aware of as you're actually configuring semantic search for your scenario.
These are great. I think we answered some of the questions too, but go ahead.
We have some more questions. So this one, does semantic search use Solar or Lucene under the hood?
So semantic search is using kind of models powered by Bing. You'll find in our documentation, Azure Cognitive Search uses a lot of the same syntax as Lucene. So essentially, you'll use Lucene search syntax to make your queries. And like so, the BM25 layer we're talking about is you can use like Lucene search syntax, and that's kind of going out to the inverted index under the hood. So I'll kind of you could think of it as being similar to Lucene.
What is Lucene for the rest of us?
So I guess Lucene is a really popular open source. It's from the Apache Foundation open source search engine. Like both like Solar and Elasticsearch are two other popular open source engines. They're both built on top of Lucene.
Awesome, thank you. Is it confusing for people that we have Azure Search and we had Bing Search? I'm just curious if people are confused about that. Well, it's just. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and actually, there's one more I'd add to the mix, which is Microsoft Search. So Microsoft really has kind of three. I guess we like theoretically compete, but we're all one Microsoft. So I guess like the way I describe it, so Bing Search is best for kind of external web content. So if you want to be searching content on the internet, that's where Bing Search comes in. Azure Cognitive Search, and then like Azure Cognitive Search versus Microsoft Search. So Microsoft Search is more of software as a service. So like you're able to search stuff through SharePoint and an Office and all that good stuff. And so if you have all your documents in SharePoint and you're happy with Microsoft Search, like there's no reason to use Azure Cognitive Search. But like what the real power of Azure Cognitive Search is that we're a platform. So let's say like you want to take those documents and build a search experience into a separate application. That's where Azure Cognitive Search comes in because we're a platform. So kind of you can build whatever you want using the APIs and SDKs that we provide. And now we're kind of pulling some of that technology from Bing to make our platform even better. So you have even kind of more options as far as like the types of search experiences you can build. So so there's a few different options out there, but that's kind of like the general breakdown of the three of them.
Yeah. I guess it depends on like which one comes out first when you search for it. Bing Search, I guess. Well, this is Microsoft Search is good for what's where it wanted to build, right? Indexing all of your documents, internal documents too. This is great. Now I know.
And more questions. They keep coming. You guys are popular.
Why people are still using Elasticsearch or traditional search methods? Well, this is a great segue to say, please use semantic search. And try it out for your scenario. There are not many solutions out there that actually give such sophisticated capabilities. In fact, if you could mention that Azure Configurations Search was mentioned in one of the recent Forrester Wave reports as a leader, and part of the reason that was the case is because of semantic search, right? So we would definitely encourage you to try out semantic search if you're using any other classical search solutions today to see whether that it works for your scenario, and give us your feedback.
On that note, we do have free credit when you first sign up for Azure, but when to try it out, do people need to pay? I think Derek showed the free tier, but
yeah, so you'll have to be in a paid tier of Azure Cognitive Search to get access to Semantic Search. But then once you have your search service, then you can use Semantic Search for free and get those first 1,000 queries. But yeah, if you have some Azure credit, you could use that to be able to kind of pay for that Azure Cognitive Search service, and then be able to get access to all the semantic elements and get to test it out and see how it does.
Great.
And more questions.
Startup Sanatana. Any sample on semantic search and speech with regard to vernacular Indic languages? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we don't have if the question is that whether we have any sample code or demo code to share, that we probably don't. But I will say that based on the link that we just pasted in terms of supported languages, some of the vernacular Indic languages are actually supported there as well. So if there's a specific one that you're considering for your scenario, please take a look at that list and let us know if there are any gaps there.
Yeah, and also for the future, we do have a browse code samples site for Microsoft. I'm going to paste it here. Okay. If you can transfer that. Okay.
Working on it.
Awesome. So you can search for any of the code samples and specify the language you want. Awesome. And there's a follow-up.
Follow-up, yeah. Could you please, can you please share the report you mentioned where Azure Search dominated list?
Yeah, I just pasted the link in the chat window.
Okay.
Yay.
I will transfer it.
We are just making your life hard today. Thank you.
You're really on top of those links.
Yeah.
Keep beating me to them.
Oh, Derek, by the way, like you didn't know those AKA links, but you did great while talking.
I know.
Improvised.
I was so surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in our little internal chat, so it was easy. Just read them from there.
Awesome. You guys have been a great guests. Really, this was amazing, both to see in action and also like how to go get started. It was really nice.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed. There were a ton of questions for you guys. This is really great. I think this is super helpful for the people who watch. So thank you so much.
Thank you to the audience for all the questions. We always appreciate that.
Yeah, very exciting to see so much enthusiasm for semantic search. Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, go ahead and build your applications. Just test it out, and then next time we have them, you can give all of your feedback and ask all of your questions. And startup Sanatana, what is the language there?
The best link. So we have
the one before.
Links. Oh, the one before. Sorry, did I miss?
No, I was just curious what the language is.
Those are Indic languages, and I think
Indic,
thank you in multiple languages.
So it looks so beautiful. Look at that. Yeah.
So our pleasure. Absolutely.
I feel like I would write even worse in these languages.
So Dipanshu actually is saying you both are great, and Jose is saying thank you for all the answers. So yeah, people are excited. And about links, so replying to this question, so there are 4 links that were shared at the end of the interview, which I will share them here again, which will help you. Or you can watch the interview, either the recorded live show or the actual recorded AI show, and watch Derek describe perfectly the contents of each link here.
Yeah. And after this is over, I'm going to put timestamps so you can go exactly where we answered. I'll put all of the questions there too.
Awesome. All right. So goodbye, Sorit and Derek. I think that's it for your participation on the show. Thank you for staying so long, and we'll hope that we'll have you guys again. Like when you guys have more updates, think of us, let us know, and we'll have you here again.
Will do. And thank you so much for having us on the show.
It was our pleasure. Thank you for your hard work too. We know you're working hard on those features.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Now, Birgan, you can ask the questions.
Oh. Okay, this is interesting. The not seen test was in local language Kannada, since we are from Bengaluru. That's so awesome. It's so cool how India has so many different languages, right? It's such a diverse country, even within the country itself, right?
I know.
It's pretty amazing. And they're beautiful too. Beautiful to see and beautiful to hear, to listen to them, right?
Yeah, it looks quite fascinating to me.
Yeah. More people are saying awesome and thanks for your time. Well, thank you for your time. For sure. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for your time, for watching and for staying with us and for wanting to learn.
Yeah, and we are here till like 45 minutes, and we're going to talk about the search and how to get started there. So stay tuned for that. But if you are here for search, thank you for stopping by and asking all of these amazing questions. And hello, Less Stress Gaming. That's a really cool name. Thank you, Jose. So nice to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'd love to have you. So, Ayşegül, do you remember life before search?
No. Like, what were we doing? And we're old enough to know that, there was life before search.
Right.
It's just, you just wonder. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I actually remember. So my older brother was really into computers, so I was around computers since a young age because of him. And we had internet pretty early on. Like we were like one of the early adopters at home. And I remember that we used to buy this magazine that literally had websites, like here are the interesting websites for the month. And we would just go and we'd type these websites on the Mosaic web browser, would type them and like this website is really cool. And that was life before search for me anyway.
It is unbelievable. I mean, life before search, it's very hard to think. Even YouTube, like it just blows my mind. YouTube was built in like was public 2005. Startup Santana. It's 1:42 a.m. Go sleep. Thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you for being with us so late.
Thank you.
And thanks
search
for
happened.
Time. Thank you. Search happened at the library. Exactly, right? Yeah. Then I remember. Yeah, I also remember those days. Where crazy.
You
right?
had the encyclopedia. Everybody had it at home to do the homework.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. It's like kids these days don't understand how easy they have it, right? Where everything is just like on their phone.
And the only way to look up, like if you're curious about something, is to know exactly the word, and then like you can't ask a question, and then you have to go alphabetically to the exact place.
Yeah, exactly.
And with phone calls.
Especially- Yeah, search happen with phone calls.
Yeah. And then who are you gonna call? Like there's
Oh, you
no
go to the phone book to figure out who to call.
The thing is, we have to index everybody's knowledge specifically.
Yeah,
Encyclopedia
encyclopedia for
Britannica,
sure.
That's what I had.
I did too. Yeah,
It's
insane.
unbelievable.
Corded phones. Yep. Everyone here is showing their age. Colleagues.
Yeah,
That's true. Thankfully, we still have those. We have not seen books go away. Even though there's Audible and there's internet and PDFs and all sorts of alternatives, people still read books and Kindle, of course, right? Yeah, and I think people still have mentors and they still consult their colleagues for knowledge. At least Ayşegül and I, we certainly consult each other a lot, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I think this is like we were talking about having a live show versus a recorded show. And I think the biggest advantage is that you can ask questions and we can, answer your very specific question. Because when you record a demo, it's there, but like you don't, things change, documentation change, you get lost. It's really, come here and ask your questions. That's what I'm saying.
exactly. That's why we have the live show. Yeah. That's so true. That is like 100% true. And I have no idea what this comment is about, but I'll put it anyway. I hope it's nothing offensive. If it is, it's not my responsibility.
Hope not. And Hakan's fight my husband, actually. He's like, well, you had it better than me too. I'm older than you.
I see. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, lots of people joined. I haven't been like posting all these new highs, but lots of people joined while we were talking about more serious things.
Digital Inventor asks an interesting question. Are we going back to the earlier days of search in metaverse and new tech? Well, it's actually very complicated. So I work with W3C, which is World Wide Web Consortium, especially in Immersive Web, which is going to, metaverse. I hate that term, but what you gonna do? So it is very challenging because what we have is a canvas and it is not searchable. So we don't have also accessibility. We have shapes, we don't have words. So that makes it really hard. I wonder how are we going to solve all of these problems, but you can always, I guess, build your own search into it, but nothing yet.
Do you think that eventually there will be search solutions for the metaverse and more visual? I think there's already search for images, right? You can already search and even like type your description of the image and have the image be generated for you, right? So there's already some understanding of images.
Exactly. And we do have things like scene understanding, which means when you're looking at it, you can detect, for example, a window versus a wall versus a table, right? We do have that. And you can always add cognitive services, vision services like image detection and things like that. But as a whole, like there is no description, there's no alt text. So that's the problem that we are having. But we have to solve it because that's the accessibility problem.
Right.
To start with. Yeah. So if you're visually impaired, you have no way of, seeing what's in front of you.
Right. But I would think that it would also like solve accessibility for other disabilities, like people who can't, walk or that have mobility issues. That may be difficult for them to be in a room with people to kind of go to a gathering or whatever. And in the metaverse, then that would become, everyone is equal in that sense, right? So it may make things easier for some disabilities, right?
Yeah, we can even fly if you want to. And that's the beautiful thing. Like anything that we do for accessibility is helpful for everyone. Like if you are in a metaverse, in a digital world, you don't know. Sometimes we have meetings actually on Altspace. Microsoft has this thing called Altspace. You don't know where things are. There are lots of things, but you want to search for it and then say like, okay, I want to go there now. If we have the information, like the alt text, then we can easily do that.
I see. Well, we have lots of comments coming in. Microsoft developed in olden days in India. So much knowledge, wisdom. I would think without any IP or copyright. Yes, for sure. 37 purchased a new PC 8 months ago. Before that, it was 10 years. How much?
How much
Things have changed a lot in 10 years. That's for sure. That's yeah.
I don't know if the computers got worse, because I remember my first one didn't have Windows on it, and I didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah, exactly. Future search engine for Meta or Microsoft? We'll see.
I think it's going to. Everyone is going to have it, just like now we have Bing, we have Google. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think I can't see this coming from a single company. I see everyone kind of throwing themselves at the problem and kind of trying to solve it in the best way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of things that we haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, I already did that one.
Google Lens comes in mind. Yes, Google Lens is doing, image recognition, which you can do with cognitive services as well. It is very easy to do with a call. But normal search works with text. There's a lot of text online. We don't have text in 3D. We have shapes of text, basically.
Right.
That's our problem.
Not sure what this one's about.
Is there a typo? I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Has been for me, and guess it began with my startup when got home from Walmart and not knowing anything about Ryzen. Oh, yeah. It's a complicated computer chip.
Yeah.
It is one of those powerful gaming things. Yeah.
Startup Santana, just curious to know, are you running the show from Seattle? So we're actually in two different places, Ayşegül and I. I'm in Seattle, and Ayşegül is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And our guests today were in Seattle too, but we often have guests in other different places, which is very cool to see like a distributed world in a show, right? People from all over.
Yeah, it's so nice to have lots of people asking questions from all around the world. I mean, Seattle and San Francisco is a unique places where tech is very powerful, and we live in a bubble sometimes. Like, there's an app for everything, and most of the apps go live in this area first before they go to the markets in other places. So it's really nice to see.
It's also a bit scary, right? To see all those self-driving cars going around. Like, you're still testing that thing. I'm not going to cross the street in front of you, right? I'll wait, you go. Yeah, sometimes you kind of like living in these locations, you kind of guinea pigs for certain things that sometimes, have some rough edges at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the streets littered with the scooters.
I know. Oh, Pokemon Go was one of the worst for me. And although I work with augmented reality and stuff, I wasn't playing. And suddenly everyone would stop in one place and you can't go. Like they're just blocking the sidewalk. Everybody's find the Pokemon. Did you play?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But that's funny. Yeah, I have seen that too. I have witnessed that too.
Yeah, it was
Very
quite
funny.
amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
So there's some more comments. I see. Got it.
Digital reality. I haven't heard that term. I don't know if it's a typo, but
I
yeah,
haven't
that
either.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Physical world and digital
Yeah.
world merging together, which is
Right.
you know what augmented reality is. And we do have a augmented reality glass there. One day I'll maybe do a demo and show you how to get started with that kind of drawing. But you can actually have that with even your phone, and with 5G available too. It's it's going to be more and more available for people. And
That's true. The MVP Global Summit, it's in Redmond though, isn't it? Am I correct?
Yeah, well,
at least it was back then when I was, because I was at Microsoft left and then came back. Back then it was in Redmond. I don't know where it is now, which is near Seattle.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Redmond is Seattle for me. Where,
Okay.
like most people, Silicon Valley, they just say San Francisco too because it's.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. Yeah, for me, San Francisco is like everything, but you're right. Like it's totally not. It's actually kind of far, right? Like if you're going to be driving between San Jose and San Francisco, it takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and San Francisco is a very small city. So, thank you. Keep the comments and questions coming, but I just wanted to get started with my topic, which is speech. We don't have much time. I'm just going to talk about like how we are going to get started, but in the future episodes we can continue. Startup Sanatana, are you an MVP? I'm guessing you are an MVP.
Yeah. So there were global summits in Seattle and Redmond. See, you know more than me, and I work for Microsoft because you're an MVP, most likely. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know I spoke at 3 Microsoft conferences so far, but I actually never been in person in any of the conferences.
Oh, wow.
So you've been to more conferences than me. And Balabashar is asking, how can we visit Redmond, Mecca of Microsoft? Right now, nobody's visiting, I think.
It's empty.
Yeah.
You can go and you see buildings at the moment, right? Because people aren't
it's a ghost town.
commuting to the office right now.
Hey, Frank. Frank says MVP Summit when in person is at HQ, which is Redmond. Have you been, Frank?
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Thank you for staying with us. Well, I want to thank Frank. Like at the beginning of pandemic, like I was going to all of these conferences, and suddenly I had to figure out how to do videos and like live stream, and he was my hero. He helped me with a lot of stuff, and his show is called Hello World. Definitely do check it out. When is the time, Frank? Can you put it on the chat? Any updates on Microsoft HoloLens? I'm not super up to date myself. Mesh is the new thing that was announced in our last Ignite. Since then, I'm not sure if there's anything new, honestly. But actually, WebXR wasn't doing very good. Now I think it is. So that's the good news for me because I'm a web person first. But yeah.
Great.
Oh, Frank.
All right.
Frank was an MVP for 5 years. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, now I remember since you mentioned it. When is your show? Just put
advertise. Yeah, help us advertise your show.
Yes, and thank you for sticking around. Oh, between season right now. Okay. All the episodes are on this channel, so check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to make this a kind of a series about speech. I'm going to show transcript and translation of speech, and if we have time to finish it. If not, we'll continue next time, and just let me know what else you would like to see, and so I can build and show it to you.
So we're going to hold off on questions for a little bit, otherwise we'll do nothing else. We'll let Ayşegül demo her code, and then we'll come back to questions at the end.
Yeah, I'll answer one. Ghost Metrics says, has build 2022 dates been confirmed? Not that I know of. And we really want to have some demos for you for builds, and we don't know the dates. Seriously, this is not a secret this time. Do you?
I haven't heard anything either. Like, I think we're both anxious
Yeah.
to know that date.
And
For life planning for us, right? Vacation planning, everything. Yeah.
And I'm curious what you find interesting in build and what kind of demos you want to see, because it's very likely B and I will be working on some. Do you have any ideas, B?
I don't know. I mean, I think mostly I want to know what the priorities are for the conference, you know, in terms of technologies before coming up with ideas.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. I think you should now demo, because we have like half hour left. So
yes.
I think we need to give you some time, and then we'll come back to the other questions that we haven't yet addressed.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's see. All right. So I actually created some notes for this show. And would you be able to paste the link? It's aka.ms AI show notes.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'll just show it in the banner because we have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's down below on the details too. So
yeah.
The purpose of this is I made this demo for like 7 minutes during Ignite, but sometimes we do these demos and then you see it, oh, okay, everything is fine, great, but you go to the documentation and it's hard to know where to start from. So I want to start from the very beginning. Do you ever have that, B?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like it's like, I think we talked about this in the show, that it's actually harder to do a 7-minute demo than it is to do a 2-hour show, because you really have to condense it to what's critical, right? So you can't just start from scratch, right? Because there's no time for that. Yeah. So that's what this show is about. We can actually start from scratch and explain things a little bit with more time.
Yeah. And I think I have the demo running here. It might have died by now, but you see it. Okay. So here was the demo. This is for transcribing and also translating to other languages. So I'm going to try click on it.
Can you speak in Turkish?
Merhaba. But this is the translation that's from English to Turkish specifically mentioned, and there's Spanish and there's Klingon. But there are tons of languages. But I'll show you the Turkish translation on the portal, actually. So this is the thing that we are going to do. You see, it's very accurate and it's really nice. It's really fast too, right? I mean,
super fast.
Yeah, I think it's super impressive. All right. Not because I made it, because cognitive services are impressive, and I'm not even running it. I mean, you could run these services in a container on your own premise. If I was doing that, it would be even faster.
Wow.
Yeah. So, what is the problem that we are trying to solve? So the reason I started building this was because I talked about, W3C meetings. We scribe, so we talk. Somebody writes down while we talk about stuff. Somebody has to type in everything that's being said. They also have to say, okay, this person's nickname said this, and that other person said this. So after the meeting is over, that turns into a text.
Is that somebody you hired to do that, that knows how to do it well? Is it one of the people in the meeting? It's one of the people participating in the meeting. Is it you, Ayşegül?
No, never. I actually failed so miserably. So I don't know. I mean, your English, I don't get any accent or anything from you, but
I have.
I realize it's really hard for me to decipher people's accents and what they're saying and type at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. It's such a pain. We have to find a volunteer each time, and we have a lovely person who volunteers every time, but when he's not there, it's awful. And twice a year we have 4 days of full day of meeting, and one person can type in all of those things, which is really horrible. And also these W3C is an open organization, so everything we do is open, and we want to encourage more people to come and join and tell us what they think, give feedback. But all of our notes, everything, all of our previous dialogues and everything is in English, so it doesn't really make it easy for people to come and join to the conversation. So because of that, I decided to do scribing and translation at the same time. And for the feature, one other thing that I want to add, thank you. Can you add Hindu language? Yes, you can. And I'm going to show you all of the languages that are available. So that's the problem that I wanted to solve. And in the feature, what I can do, I haven't added that yet, but recognize the speaker. So I could put their nicknames automatically, which will help really. Because if you don't remember everybody's nickname, which is really hard to do, it's hard to scribe at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah.
How many people are in that meeting?
That's a great question. I have no idea. So we have two different kinds of meeting. One of them is working group, which is kind of more legally binding situation. So not everyone can join, but we have community group. So I'll actually Immersive Web Community. Anyone can join there. And it depends, I guess, because it's online right now. I don't really know how many people joins. So I'll paste it for you here. So Metaverse and the future of web, if you're interested, then please do join. All right. Wait, we have one interesting question. My focus is on AI is purely around ethics, governance, and policy, and I'm interested in what projects people are creating. In terms of helping with ethics, I think we do have a checklist kind of stuff at Microsoft. And we do write a lot of blog posts about what could go wrong and how you can make things more ethical. Do you have any other?
No, I know there's a ton of scrutiny. Like there are guidelines and things that people need to think about when they put out AI projects at Microsoft. So things aren't just like put out there without a lot of thought. So there's a lot of people thinking about those things. There's one more thing I'd like to kind of highlight here. Classes like this one, but more for beginners. I would actually recommend our Learn modules for beginners for about anything, like any topic, AI or machine learning or cognitive services related that you can think of. Go to MS Learn and search for the modules and kind of take them at your own pace. I think that's really the best resource that Microsoft has for beginners.
So MS Learn, I think, and then you can search for all of the courses. And one other thing that you could do is if you want to get certified, you can prepare for the certification. and there's all of these learning modules take you through to get ready for the exam.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So the problem we are solving is transcribing and translating at the same time. So, okay, I do know the problem, but how do I get started? How do I start thinking about it? First of all, if you haven't signed up for Azure, you should sign up. Is it easy to see? Yeah, maybe I'll make
yes,
it bigger.
I think so. If people disagree, please type in the comments. But I think it's big enough, yeah.
Yes. And the link is aka.ms AI show notes. And the second thing I do is going to Applied AI Services. So have you ever heard of Applied AI Services, E?
Through you.
Yeah, I do talk about it. The reason you start here, I have a problem. I want to solve it with AI. Why would I start here? The reason is this is our most ready-to-use solutions. It's not just the service. There's the service, but also it's a solution built for very common problems like bot service, creating a bot, having a form recognizer, which you can just take a picture of a document, driver's license, passport, and recognize all of the fields and extract information. Cognitive search, we did hear about. Metrics advisor looks at your data and then gives you diagnostic issues, sends you alerts. Video analyzer is for having a video and then being able to count people's distance and things like that. There's just so much. And we have the Azure Immersive Reader, which reads to you. You can try it out on Edge, actually.
Yeah, I think the idea is don't reinvent the wheel if it's already been done and provided to you as a service. As much as I love Azure ML and doing things from scratch, I don't advocate doing anything from scratch that's already been done because it's here. You can just use it. Why do it from scratch? Yeah,
exactly. So that was the point I was trying to make. This, if I have an issue, I'll start here. These are very ready-made things and using cognitive services behind the screen. So right now, none of these solutions are going to solve my problem. So I have to build it using the services. So this is a little bit more work for developers, but you have more freedom. You could do whatever you like. So for that, go to cognitive services. So my issue is transcription and translation. So here I'm confused already. I don't know what you think, but do I go to language because there's a translator? Do I go to speech? I don't know. I'm not sure, right? Yeah. I just wanted to, take you through my journey personally. One thing you could do is read more about it, like what are cognitive services, so they have a little bit better explanation. But also a lot of our services do work together. So language understanding is part of search, as we saw, or speech. So basically, the difference between speech and language is that language is worried about answering questions, understanding the sentence. Speech is not worried about understanding your sentence at all. It is getting the words and translating it, but that's it. We have no idea about what it means. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And because we're going to do the translator too, I just wanted to point out the translator here, the under language. This is very specific. You could use this too, but speech service added translation automatically, made it much easier, so you don't have to worry about making a call to two different services. And also, you could do some really cool stuff, like you can give your whole HTML of your website and get it translated perfectly, and everything in the right places with the right syntax, and get another HTML with another language, which is unbelievable. I mean, I know you, but it would take forever to translate any documentation, and there's a lot of work that developers have to do to make sure the translation works. So this is amazing. Yeah. And it also works like things like your presentations, your PDFs, and everything else. And if you have some graphics, for example, it will translate even the little things in your graphics, and everything will be in the right place, which normally would take a lot of effort. Awesome. So this is the translator. And what we are going to do is use the speech. And here we have, documentation and the speech studio. I think if you have a problem about you are thinking you can solve with speech, you should go to the studio first. That should be the very first place. Startup Center, I was asking translation or transliteration. I'm not sure what that means. Do you?
No. But I like the next comment.
How about pronunciation challenges? Perfect. Well, we are right there. Do you see there's this thing called pronunciation assessment? Have you ever tried?
I have not.
Yeah, I do try this. So, okay, I'm going to do this. So pronunciation assessment is a service that you can call inside Cognitive Services Speech, and you can build whatever you want to. So this is a sample thing that you could try. So I'm going to read this, and then it's going to score. Today was a beautiful day. We had a great time taking a long walk outside in the morning. The countryside was in full bloom, yet the air was crisp and cold. Towards the end of the day, clouds came in, forecasting much needed rain. All right.
I wonder if it could detect where your accent is from.
Oh,
is there such a service? Because that's something I always wonder when I hear somebody with an accent is where they're from. I also find it really interesting people trying to guess where I'm from. They generally cannot guess. they do many tries, and then eventually I'll tell them, oh. So it would be interesting to see if there's anything that would do that.
Yeah, you might be even able to train custom speech, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. We should find that out.
I'm not sure if there's any value in it either. And there's also like people that speak multiple languages at birth, and what kind of accent do they have? Right?
Yeah, I'm sure they actually have it in their model, right? Because all of these services are able to understand all of the different accents. Also, with people with speech impediment too, they may try to make sure that people with speech impediment would be understood very well too.
Right. And also, different words. Yeah, footpath. I never heard of that one before.
What? Yeah.
Sidewalk versus footpath. Yeah, no, definitely here we would use the word sidewalk, but maybe somewhere else somebody would use footpath. Yeah.
Yeah. When I first came to this country, I was saying things more British because that's what I learned in school.
Same here.
And people sometimes would laugh at me. It was really funny. Less stress gaming. Thanks. I'll see if I can find something. I feel I have so much to ask, but I feel scared get into troubles, and now realizing that the more I try and fix it, the more it seems to get worse. What is that? I'm very curious. Like, don't hesitate to ask. That's why we're doing this live.
Exactly.
And, and so you can even reach us on GitHub, wherever works for you. This one. So the example that I'm going to show is the Azure speech sample. You can find it here. But we also have a community here. AI Playground. Well, it seems like this is really hard to reach us. There are discussions. You could just let us know what you think, and if you have a problem, we'd like to help. we want to make sure everyone gets what they need.
Can you show us where people can find the code that does the speech app?
Yes. So Cloud AI Advocates is our thing. You can find Rochambeau, which is what Seth is building. But this example that I'm going to show, we are not going to have time to show the whole thing this time, but I'm going to continue next time. And yeah, I should put it here as well. And then I actually have all of the code here that you can just copy and paste.
Oh, great.
You know,
yeah, that's even better. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So pronunciation, usage of words like yeah. No. All right. This was fun. It gave me omissions, pronunciation, accuracy, height, weight. Pronunciation score is 96.2.
That's really good.
Yeah. Completeness score, fluency score. My fluency score is the lowest all the time. Like it's I try to like follow somebody else, an American speaker, and say exactly what they say. I just can't do it. It's
right. Same
I speak
here.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
The speed is very different.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Okay. So Speech Studio enables you to try out all of the services, which is really nice. But also you can even customize things and then retrain your model here, and then you would write the code later on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the service that we're going to use is the real-time speech to text. So hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're enjoying your time here. So this is what I'm going to get when I make a call to the API. This is the thing that I will get. So we have the display text and also the confidence level. So it is a number between 0 and 1, and higher number means more confidence. So it's pretty confident that, you know, I'm speaking English and this is what I said.
Right.
And then we have each word, offset, duration, and more information. And we could do some other language too. Let me do Turkish in that case.
And then, so then to use this, is it literally just doing an API call, like a REST call?
Exactly.
To an API, and you'd get that JSON back.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you scroll down, it's, you know, gives you the sample code, how to use speech SDK, which makes it really easy. Like this is the information you're getting, but it makes it really easy to do everything, tokens and everything else much faster without having to go through everything on the documentation.
Yeah.
And, you know, trying your other custom speech projects. So I'm going to say things in Turkish now. Merhaba, benim adım Ayşegül. Merhaba B. So I said hi, basically, and it actually got my name pronunciation. I mean, use exact letters, which are not in English, which is cool. And confidence level, same information that we get here. Do you want to try Portuguese? We're not going to go.
Okay.
But I don't think you can, because this is accessing my microphone.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed that when you had your program running, when I talked, it wasn't translating what I was saying.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's true. So we have the documentation, sample codes, and speech CLI too. Once we come to the documentation, what I followed is the quick starts. Where are they? Isn't that interesting? It's hard to find where the quick starts are. And these are all of the languages to make sure that, you can directly use it in your code. But also you can use other languages here too, because these are the ones that we have an SDK, which is kind of like a library that makes it easy. But you can directly make an API call without using any of these. Okay.
So, Ayşegül, we actually just have 5 minutes left.
Yes.
I know this wasn't a lot of time for you to do your demo, but we will definitely reserve next episode for this.
Yes.
To show exactly what is the code that you wrote to get there, right?
Yes. I mean, this was the part that I really wanted to show, like where to get started, because sometimes it's daunting, but we'll continue. And you can also take a look now. It's aka.ms AI show notes, and you can try to implement it yourself. What you do is get a token, create a config file, and define your language that you want to be. And audio config is for getting a stream from the microphone, and create an object to recognize. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So we'll go over it next time.
What do we have for next show? What is Seth going to talk about?
Oh,
do you know?
That's a great question. I don't. Matt, do you know? I don't know. I'm not sure if Peggy is here.
Peggy's not. She's out today.
Huh. That's a great question. And I don't think ak.ms AI show live link goes there yet.
Ah, right. Okay.
It's going to ours. So sorry about that, Seth. I'm embarrassed. All right. But Seth will be here next week. Do check it out, definitely.
Yes, for sure.
Do you have any questions, B, that you would want to be answered? Not necessarily today, but...
Well, I have lots of questions. I want to see the code of like exactly how you use the services, how you do the API calls, what you get back, what you do when you get it back. I know you did it all in JavaScript. So I want to see more. I feel like today people had a lot of questions. We had a very active audience, which is awesome. We love it. But it also meant that we're going to have to do this in 2 parts.
Any right ones and run anywhere, like building voice-based skills on Amazon? Yes, there is. That's a great question. So the question is, you just create speech. If you scroll down, we have custom voice, we have voice gallery, and audio content creation. So you can basically, I have to create a new file. It's going to take me some time, but you can basically paste your text and then choose a voice that you would like. You can even train your own voice, but it takes time and effort. I didn't see this Discovery tab before. Thanks to your question, we saw it. Thanks, everyone, for all of the great questions. This was a real quick overview, but we'll continue. And let us know what you would like to see, what you would like to build with us.
Yeah. And come see Seth's next show next week. Whatever it is, it's going to be awesome. Because Seth is always awesome. And then come and see our next show in 2 weeks, where Ayşegül will continue her demo. And we're also going to have another special guest for an interview.
Yes, mystery. Oh, thank you, Australia. Can't believe.
Thank you.
I hope your day is going well. It must be 7-ish there.
Yeah, I know. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, B. You've been fantastic too.
Oh,
Bye.
Final thanks. Thank you. Thanks for like all your participation. Like I feel like the audience today was just amazing. So
yeah,
Appreciate that. All right.
Bye.
It is, yeah. Bye, everyone.